Hey, this is Chick, and thanks for listening to Motoxpod. This is Tony Berluti. You're listening to the Motoxpod show.
Welcome to the Motoxpod show, starring Darkside. His co-host Scotty, sometimes TJ.
Yo, once again, Motoxpod show is back. This week, it's episode 236. Myself, Scotty in studio. No TJ this week. He's back at work. But, as always, the show is brought to you by our title sponsor, Cherubies USA. That's how you pronounce it, boys. Cherubies. For decades, Cherubies USA has been the leader in motoplastic and accessories. For products that fit perfect, look great, and last, Cherubies has what you need. Whether it's full plastic kits, individual pieces, hand guards, chain guides, and sliders, or anything else they offer, visit CherubysUSA.com. and support our title sponsor. Follow them on Instagram. Let them know you're listening. Also, Racetech. Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket suspension modification company. All Racetech products include award-winning gold valves, and settings are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA. I got me a gold valve in yesterday for my rear shock for my 06 Honda 450. It's up there at my buddy's, MDG's. He's going to be repairing that rear shock, so that bike will be back together. No, I always wonder what one of those things look like. I'd never even really looked at one. I pulled the box open, and it's pretty cool. Like, I just kind of wanted a gold valve just to, like, wear as a necklace or something. I don't know. It's pretty bitchin' looking product.
You got some bling?
Yeah, it's cool, man. I like it. Racetech also offers state-of-the-art precision engine services and parts to all engine builders. Visit racetech.com for more info and use promo code MOTOXPOD to save. Also on board, Fly Racing has been developing and innovating its gear line since 1998. Fly Racing is the only choice if you want the best. So just ask current riders like Zach Osborne, RJ Hampshire, Damon Bradshaw, Justin Brayton, Carson Mumford. I am stuttering and all over my words. Carson Mumford, Jalik Swoll, and many more. Check out your local dealership and ask for Fly Racing, as well as the endless list of products offered by WPS. I don't know if you can see all the way across the room on the camera, but my new Kinetic Mesh jersey's hanging there on the wall. That thing is going to be going to Berm Lords Graphics and Jersey ID on Thursday before I head out to Lakewood, so I can get some new stuff, new lettering done on that thing. It just came in thanks to JT and the Fly Racing Company. X-Brand goggles also on board. The new Lucids are out. We're going to be doing our X-Brand Lucid whole shot conversation in just a minute. One of our guys, Garrett Rockley, ordered a pair of Lucids from me the other day. I shipped those out today.
Nice.
Eric Tetzlaff. God, I hope I said your name right. I always forget how you say it. But Eric, his son Eli is going to be making his pro debut this weekend at Lakewood, along with our guy Doc Smith. And RT sent some X-Brand stuff up to my hotel for Eric and Eli. So that stuff, they ordered some stuff. We got to love our X-Brand guys. Clear Vision. I actually sold a few of those out at my buddy's track this weekend. Some of my buddies came up. Derek Wedding, who's been on the show before. Derek's already an X-Brand, but his brother came out, tried him out, and Steve Williamson, who's been in the studio in the past and owns the track, they tried him out. They love the Lucids. I only have one pair of Lucids left. I need to place an order. X-Brand goggles, though. Go to your local dealership, ask for X-Brand, distributed through WPS, or you can hit me up, darksidemx3@AOL.com. I'll get you hooked up. Works Connection is also on board. Use that promo code MOTOXPOD20. I put all my bling on my YZ250 this weekend since there's no suspension. I wanted to go pedal with it. I put on the 123 Easy Clutch Perch. I put on the engraved master cylinder cover and the radiator braces and all the little pretty stuff that makes it just look mean. Mean. Yeah. Love it. WorksConnection.com. Torque One Racing's on board. Our jerky. Snacks, boys. During the Pulp Show last night, I ate an entire package of the 7 Deuce Deuce black pepper beef brisket.
Oh, in honor of...
Well, yeah, he just had... Well, you know what? It really wasn't on purpose. Like, I went to my cabinet while the show was on. I was like, well, what do I want? I can't eat a whole package of the Sizzling Hot. It's just too hot, and I love hot stuff.
Sizzling?
It's hot. And I was like, I just need something kind of chill. and I wasn't feeling teriyaki, and I had these sweet and spicy. I think, man, I don't know if I don't think it's called sweet and spicy. It's called something else. But anyway, which actually has become my favorite, but I didn't want to eat my last package of it last night. So,
Did you go through more
snacks?
Moral dilemma of what you're gonna do for your snacks?
You're not lying, man. Like, I have to plan out. Like, okay, I'm gonna have ice cream. I gotta have my Bluebell. I'm probably gonna have one of my white fudge covered Oreos. I'm gonna have some R jerky. But if you eat them in the wrong order, the ice cream tastes like jerky or whatever. So you gotta be careful.
Are you okay? One thing I do, I do like if I ate beef for lunch, like I'll try to do like chicken for dinner, or if I like I try not to. I'm weird about like eating fish twice or chicken twice, or I don't know, like I don't like doing two things in a row. I don't know. Is that something you ever do?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes I'm kind of not very often though. That's not really a big deal to me. Like,
yeah, I tried to plan out like, oh well, I can't eat this. I had that.
You already ate it?
Yeah.
Like, so
I had Mexican food for dinner, so I can't do Mexican food for lunch.
So like, you won't eat a hamburger for lunch and dinner?
Typically, no.
Yeah, I guess honestly, no, I'm not like that. I mean, like, I might not eat a hamburger because I already ate a hamburger. I don't feel like a hamburger.
That doesn't mean that I won't go to the same place twice. I might end up at Whataburger or something like that twice. But if I ended up having to do it twice in a day, it would be like probably beef once and chicken or breakfast the second.
Okay, all right. Also on board, Berm Lords Graphics and Jersey ID. Scotty over here just got his proof from Berm Lords for his graphics for his bike that he blew up. So I don't know what he's going to do about that. They look pretty bitchin'. And then, like I said, my jersey hanging over here is going to get some new lettering. I'll drop it off this week. They'll get to it when they can. I'm not really in a rush. So, but those guys are awesome. Graphics at bermlords.com for any info. Email them. They'll give you they'll hook you up. Tell them you listen to the show. Shock Socks, Williams Moto Works, Extreme Colors helmet painting. Kirk Hunter from Extreme Colors hit me up the other day. Wants to do something to give away a paint job again. Can't get any helmets right now, though. Fly just doesn't have any helmets they can give us. So we got to work that out. But if you guys want a custom painted helmet, email us at motoxpodshow@gmail.com, and we're going to work something out. We're going to try to get a free custom painted helmet to somebody. Blood Lubricants on board. The new Barracuda line of blood with multiple weights, better protection, better performance, and lasts longer. Bloodlubricants.com, promo code MotoX to save.
Only when it's in there.
Yeah, it's got to be in there too. It's the drain plug has to be tightened for it to work. It does not work magic.
Disclaimer, little fine print.
Yeah, I don't even know if you really got to put that out there. I think most people know.
Well, if they don't, they'll learn the hard way like I did.
That is true. Power Band Racing. If you're a WP guy and you're on the East Coast, man, especially in the Florida area, Power Band Racing can take care of you. Those guys do a killer job. And then True Fusion Sport. Derek Kelley's going to be on. It's his company. He's going to come on. We're going to talk a little bit about True Fusion. I've got some products I need to get. So truefusion.com, hit them up. They got a lot of really cool recovery products. This week, 236, Josh Jelly Ellingson's coming on. He is obviously, if you guys listen for a while.
Wouldn't be a Motoxpod show without a star guy.
That's true. I didn't even think about it. Every week lately, yeah. He's Eli's mechanic, was Justin Cooper's mechanic. So we're going to talk to him a little bit. Mrs. Cindy Thomas is going to come on. That's JT's mom, and she was a former scorer for Supercross, AMA Supercross. So we're going to I just feel like getting her on. I wanted to kind of hear, I've heard him mention Cindy many times, but never talked to her, never met her. Kind of wanted to hear how she got into scoring, how the job came to be, some backstory on JT. Anybody that knows anything about JT, they kind of know like he looks mean and mad all the time, but he's really not. So I don't know. I just want to get a mama's point of view on his racing career, what he's done post-race, his success, a little bit of the perception of JT. I just thought it'd be fun. So maybe we'll get some stories.
That'll be cool.
We may get some stories out of her. And then, like I said, Derek Kelley's going to come in and do the True Fusion check-in, the Race Tech Privateer profile. He's going to be both those tonight. So, yeah, good show. Gear. We got some gear to give away. JT told me today I asked about a helmet so we could do maybe a paint job. No helmets to give away. He said, but we can do a set of light gear or maybe kinetic gear.
Okay.
So here's what I want to do. If you guys are listening, whether it be YouTube, listening to post, I'm going to give you 2 weeks on this. So today is whatever the date is today. Two weeks from now, you know what? I don't think we're doing a show in 2 weeks because I think I'm going to be on call. So let's do 1 week. Screw it. 1 week. Next Tuesday night after Lakewood, we're going to pick a winner. Here's what you got to do. If you listen to the show, don't care if you listen live. Don't care if you listen in the next week. Hopefully you listen before next Tuesday so that you can get in on this. I am going to post a picture on the Motoxpod Show Instagram from Fly Racing of some gear, probably the new light gear, the new kinetic mesh. All you got to do is comment on that picture on our Instagram and tag somebody that's a friend. It would be great if it was somebody that doesn't listen and you think should listen. It's really all I want, man. Go to the Instagram page. I can't tell you for sure when I'm going to put it up. You're going to have to pay attention to our Instagram page. It will be up by next Tuesday for sure. That's it. Make a post, just comment and tag a friend, and we will pick a winner for some brand new Fly Racing 2022 gear. Pretty simple. What do you think? What do you think, Scotty?
It sounds good.
You probably should get in on that.
Yeah.
You're not eligible. You did get some swag, though.
Yeah. Like
fully from
here,
Sherby's. I mean, you're wearing...
I'm swagged out.
Yeah, you're wearing the new metallic shirt, the new hat. Speaking of Cherubies, I just wrote an article on Talon Volan. I sent over to Racer X for an upcoming magazine. So he'll be the 10 minutes with.
It definitely makes a difference knowing, like, it's cool to get, like free gear and stuff, but to know that
he's getting some plastic, too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he really hooked me up. Brian Foley's the man, and I appreciate him.
Not only did he somewhat save my life, and like literally, he didn't. Okay, I probably wasn't gonna die, but he definitely made me feel less like I was gonna die.
Was that the Bradshaw incident?
Yeah, he was there, and he's a former medic. So
okay.
I was like, dude, whoever the guy, I can't remember the guy's name that was there when I first went down, and there was I think another guy. There was another guy that kind of stayed with me and helped me out a lot. But the first guy that got to me, I was like, go get Brian Fullerton. He's at the Cherubies tent. I just need it. Yeah. It was more like that. Wow, can't talk like that. But I needed my buddy there because I knew he had background, right, in medical and as a medic, EMT. But I also knew it was going to kind of calm me down to have somebody that I was comfortable with, and he hung out with me the whole time. So yeah, and went to the hospital and all that good shit. So yeah, but Foley's a good dude. Hooked you up.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it's cool to like not only get hooked up, but to get hooked up with the best.
Yeah, and this is also the X-Brand Lucid Whole Shot conversation. X-Brand Lucid goggles are out with a new Wave Latch quick release lens system, race face 4-layer factory foam, and the Lucid Extreme Definition
say that
optics.
5 times fast. Race face 4-layer factory foam, 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 race face 4-layer. Oh, you were almost
done.
there. You dumped it on the last lap.
Distributed locally at your local dealerships through WPS.
You pulled the Joe Shimoda.
I told Brian, like, he's like, hey man, what size shirt does Scotty wear? I want to hook him up. And I was like, don't hook that dude up. He doesn't need anything.
Kid size medium.
Yeah, I did say like child, youth. If you have any youth t-shirts, he can wear those. But no, he didn't listen to me. He hooked you up.
I need the little baby ones that have the strap
the
on the
snaps
bottom.
on the bottom, like a onesie?
Yeah, that's what I need.
You probably could wear my granddaughter's onesies.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so coming off Hangtown.
Yeah.
You said you had a few things you want to touch on. Jason Anderson, first overall.
Yeah, it's...
My dude.
I mean, it's the obvious to say is, how has it been this long that's never happened? But I don't think I've ever seen him look quite like that outdoors.
This is the best he's ever looked, I think, in general this season. Like, he's just a different guy.
That I will say I don't even know what it wasn't really a pass, but that move he made to hold off Sexton on the last lap, that was one of the most savvy things I've seen in a long time.
As soon as you said savvy, I thought of Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I actually watched one of those the other night.
The kids were watching it. That's why it came to mind. But yeah, dude, it honestly, Eli also holding off Chase Sexton in the second moto. Like the race technique, the race skill of those guys is so unreal.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to hold off a guy that clearly was faster, came from a little bit back, and is pressuring you, and just to hold them off.
Yeah,
oh man, what great racing in all the classes, all 4 motos this weekend.
It's been good. One of my notes is talking about Sexton. Technically he has been, if you add it all up, he's within 1 second of going 4 wins right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you add both,
very easily could I.
I mean, he was less than a second behind Anderson and Tomac.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is do you think that he can maintain that all season?
I do. I still am kind of on the Jason Anderson bandwagon or train for winning.
I want to see how that turns out.
I still feel like Chase right now is the favorite.
Yeah. I mean, he's already
He
got
hasn't
us.
had a bad race yet, and the other two guys have.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're only two in.
I don't know where the points are at, but he probably already has a little solid little cushion.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me. They talked about it a little bit last night. I didn't write it down or check, but it's close. It's not that far off.
Yeah.
You know, Lakewood is typically has been a struggle for Jason with the altitude stuff. I know he's back in New Mexico.
We'll see.
And he's been there, but that doesn't mean it's not going to affect him.
Yeah.
So I'm not as confident in Jason this
I don't think
weekend.
it affects him first moto. I think the last 5 minutes of that second moto, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. It could. So I'm not super confident yet this weekend in him, and I'm probably more confident in Eli this weekend than I am say Chase. So things could shift this weekend a little bit, but right now Chase is the favorite.
That's another thing that I wanted to say was, when has anybody ever completely changed their whole shock system in between motos and then come back and won? Like,
well, yeah,
has that ever happened?
Not, maybe then we just don't know, or maybe I just
I mean,
forgot,
he just
but it's
completely
definitely something I want to talk to
changed.
Josh about. Now,
Yeah.
he's not the suspension guy, right? Gilly is,
Right.
So Josh probably didn't have a ton of say in that, but I'd like to know the feel. What's the word I'm looking? The emotions in the pits at that moment. Like, is he like going, man, I don't know, or like, yeah, let's do it, or like, oh, this could go really bad. Like, I want to know what the mood in between those motos when that topic is coming up and when they're changing, or is it just, oh man, we'll make it work. I can't. I really want to ask Josh about that. So yeah, it's in my notes. But yeah, I think, dude, Chase looks like a different guy. Like right now, I know it's only 4 motos, but
and it's Kelley,
you start
tracks.
to get a vibe.
Yeah.
And there's a different vibe. And every race he does well and doesn't crash, more confidence, more like, okay, I got this. I can do this. Like, you have to think at some point, and Chase has kind of talked about it, like it's in his head. Did I make these mistakes? I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't made those mistakes in 4 motos. So that mindset starts to change a little bit. He goes, okay,
I can do this.
I see where the limit is. I see where I need to back it down, or I see what I can do, and maybe it's different. Maybe, yeah. So I think it's going to be good.
I would like to. I'm excited to see where this whole thing's at. I said this before this season too. Round 6 or round 7.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna. I think when we start getting to, not that saying that Chase isn't good in deep ruts. I just think that your high points and when we get down the line to Unadilla and Washougal, that's just tracks that those guys, that Tomac and those guys have so many years of riding in those conditions. And there's stuff that you can't replicate. And I just want to see if he's going to be able to hang on through those dog days.
Absolutely. We don't have a lot of time to talk about everything that you had on your list and I have on my list.
I pretty much hit all of it, actually.
We didn't talk. You said you want to talk about Eli. You said you want to talk about Max.
Eli.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well,
all right.
Eli changing his shocks and then winning.
Well, we're going to talk about, you said Max Folan, and we'll get to Max. How about Mosman getting his first
Yeah, it's just
moto win, and then like the DNF?
Yeah.
Like I sucks they didn't get the crash for us to know exactly what happened, but that bike was bent.
Yeah.
Or those bars look like me riding in 1989 on my RM125 with like Super Sport and
yeah.
ZX7 bars, they were pointed down, and he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I did kind of like what Brock said though. Is like, dude, you can adjust, like just go ride, figure it out. And most decided not to, but I kind of like that because like when I was 15, 16 years old, I crashed so damn much because I had zero idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I'd bend bars down, and I couldn't afford new bars all the time. So I guess I'm riding with a bent bar.
I'm actually I'm for some reason, every time I get bars, my bars always end up being a little to the left, and like I've always just
like
rode
bent down, or just
like
or
I'm
offset?
just so I don't know. I've gotten
You're a weird dude.
I know they get bit once, I just get used to it.
Okay.
It seems like no matter what happens, my last like 3 bikes have all had a left curve to it.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave.
Which
That's what.
That's what she said.
To find the drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so poor Mose though, man. I think Mose wins the overall, if not for DNF, dude. Like he was so good in the first
he
moto.
wins the overall and is in the title fight. Like if he just like
Yeah.
it's so
Like,
disappointing to see something like that happen.
Hunter probably should have won the overall, but ifs and
If he
buts
can
are
figure
that's
out
all that crap.
if he
but
can figure out a couple of things, he's scary. He can be. I think that
he should have beat Jet. Yes.
Yeah.
Saturday.
He hasn't started in front of him once and has finished right behind him
Right.
several times.
Yeah, the 250 class. This whole right now the season, even with a couple guys out, season's looking good.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm super excited to how it's going.
Yep. Okay, so we talked about modes. What was your question about Max? We still got. About
I was
9
just saying
minutes.
it's good to finally see some kind of improvement and something to, fifth overall. I mean, that's
11th at Paula overall.
Yeah.
5th at Hangtown. Talked to Talon. I interviewed Talon Sunday night for this article, and that like right when if you're on our Patreon, by the way, patreon.com, Patreon. Go to Patreon, search out the Motoxpod show. You can support the show. $1 a month, $5 a month. It'd be nice to at least do $5 a month. We would appreciate that. But whatever. If you guys want to support the show, it means a lot.
$1 million.
That would be even better. Like if one of you wants to do $1 million just one time for a month, that's fine. You don't have to continue it. One time would be great.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, I'm shifting gears here. I'm getting my OCD's kicking in. But we've said this before. We average like 4,000 to 4,500 downloads.
Mm-hmm.
Like if every one of our listeners went to our Patreon and did $1 a month, we could go to every race.
Yeah.
Pretty much. We could go to every race.
Don't be mooches.
Yeah. Damn it. $1 a month, man. Oh, anyway. Max.
Yeah.
So I interviewed Talon for Racer X and and I shifted to Patreon because I interviewed him for like an hour, Talon Volan. I put the audio for that interview on our Patreon yesterday. So our Patreon supporters got an interview that won't be available anywhere else. Now you will see the printed form in Racer X if you read it and subscribe, which you need to go do, but it's not all there. Like I cut half the interview out because it was too many words. So Patreon supporters got some free, unique content. Anyway, the point was when we first started talking, as soon as we started, I hit record about 30 seconds in. We were talking about Max. He's like, man, I'm coming in. Max is like 5 weeks out of the thumb. I think it was a broken thumb. So he hasn't been recovered very long. Their goal was 10th at the first round, 5th at the second.
Well,
So they went 11-5. They are on par. If that's the right term. I don't.
Yeah.
On par for what their plan was.
Yeah.
So he built some confidence. He's feeling better. I think Max might be on the show next week. Jet was supposed to be, but Jet was sick. So
I mean, it's at that point you can just be like, look, like if you started in 11th, right? If I can, like, all right, if we can cut that in half, he did.
Yeah.
5th. If you can cut that in half and you're sitting in 3rd, and then the next couple rounds cut that in half, well, you're winning races.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think obviously the next step's going to be a lot harder. He's still recovering. Hangtown is his home track. Like he's got that place dialed.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to get better.
I think he'll do good. He seems like kind of one of those guys that's fluid and ruts and stuff. I think he'll do good at Thunder Valley.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
I want that kid to succeed so bad. I like him a lot.
I do too. But that list is long of riders that I want to succeed. So, and there's not that many spots.
Doesn't mean that they're not all important.
Yeah, right. So yeah, Max is gonna be good. Eli, we're gonna talk to Josh about Eli. Jet being sick, that was super impressive. Like the dude looked miserable.
So Anderson's your pick for the whole thing?
Yeah, I don't know if that's who I said originally. I think it is. But right now, that's who I want to win it. Like with Dylan being out, I'm on the Jason train right now.
Yeah.
I like Jason. I like his style. I know there's people out there. Dude, there's people out there on social like talking shit about his wife because of the post race. Like she wasn't apparently paying attention when she was on her phone when he pulled off. And I hate the way people are. And Jason's one of those guys that people just hate on. And he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he does some dumb shit, but who doesn't?
That's okay. So I think you're seeing a change in the a revelation of how the media and stuff works. Because watch Jet and Hunter now, they're like straight up like, yeah, I was blowing chunks middle of the moto.
Yeah,
they're letting you know Anderson. I like the guy, and we've had contact with him before, and we've talked to Tom a few times, so I feel like I gotten to know him from another side of those guys. But without knowing that, I can see where a lot of people, if you don't give them anything, that they're going to fill in the blanks, usually with false information.
Yeah.
So they start getting that jaded look because the fact that there's just no information to gather from.
People do that, and Jason's aware of that, and Jason does not care. And that's
fine.
That's everybody
if it doesn't
has
bother
their own
him,
thing,
then
right?
it's fine.
Yeah, he isn't into doing the media stuff, and it's whatever, man. He doesn't have to. I wish he would do more. But I did get a chance to meet his wife. Like people, it was on Facebook in some group I'm in, like one of those like 90s moto or one of those stupid Facebook pages. And they were just talking smack, man. And that stuff just gets under my skin. Like, first of all, you guys don't know her. Hell, I don't know her. I've met her. She seems very, very nice. She seems smart to me when I talk to her.
Yeah.
You know, of course, that's some of the stuff. Oh, she's just a dumb blonde and whatever the comments were. And, and then he, of course, has this reputation or image of, being like a pothead or whatever. So that those comments were coming out. And it's like, dude, you guys don't know shit. And I don't, like, what's the point of making those comments? Like, okay, you could have your opinion. You could see this and think, oh, wow. But why do you go on social media and say, oh, look at this dumb broad or whatever it is you're saying? Like, I don't understand it. And it makes me mad, and it makes me want better for him to prove people wrong. Like, okay, so maybe she was on her phone. Maybe she's not really into motocross. She goes and supports her man, but maybe that's not really her thing. Like maybe their thing is
maybe she's texting
their friend group and their life outside of racing, but she still comes to the races to support her dude. But maybe she doesn't give a shit about motocross.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But
then
like,
maybe she's texting his parents or something.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. You don't know, right? I mean, like I remember they're not together anymore, but Brock and Jessica Tickle. Jessica would not do interviews. Jessica would not talk about the racing. And people were, before they separated, people were like, well, she just doesn't care. She doesn't give, about, and like I talked to her at St. Louis a couple years ago and at Dallas 2 years ago or whatever. And she's like, I don't like the media and the way the social media people hate and the things they say, what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
So she's like, I choose not to be a part of it. I'm not going to talk about it. The sport doesn't really care about these riders. Like, she's like, they don't, like, if he gets hurt, then he loses a job or whatever. Like, she said, it's like, I'd rather just not talk about it. She said, I don't really care about this sport. Like, that's not what is important to me.
Yeah.
He's important to me. Him doing well is important to me. But the sport as a whole, I don't like how it goes. She didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe Jason's wife's that way. Or like you said, maybe she's shy,
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, anyway, it frustrated me. I should have left the group, and I didn't. That's on me. But like, I hate
chick.
stuff like that, man. Like,
it's not your chick. Don't worry about it.
Fucking negativity all the time.
It's because
Even if okay,
it's what
Barsha
the way
made
it
some
goes.
moves this year that I absolutely thought were horrible moves. Disagree with. I don't need to go on social media and blow them out. I just don't say anything. Like I might talk about it on the show if it comes up, but I don't have to go, oh, he's an idiot.
We're just,
I just keep it to myself.
Us as a society, we're just so addicted to drama. It's ridiculous.
Negativity, man. Oh,
it starts with everything just like drama. Just
Yeah, I don't know. I know I've sort of been on the soapbox before, and
that's why I try to. If I rarely do post, especially with something in motocross, I always like, good ride. We're here for you. If something,
unless it's like about TJ and we want to talk smack.
That's different.
Like I think anybody that knows me or who knows of me that listens to the show knows like I'm a super nice guy, maybe too nice sometimes, and that's just like it's so much easier to me to look at the positives when you can and be nice and just be friendly to everybody. And, the old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all.
That does not exist anymore.
It's pretty easy.
Well, it's because, they've talked about this on the other shows, but there's no consequences.
That's true.
So when there's no consequences, then, pretty much anything goes.
Yeah. And then the other saying, which does not really hold true, is sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Words can hurt, dude.
Yeah.
So when you talk shit.
Only if you let them, though.
Yeah, but that's hard. As a human being, we have emotions, and you want people to like you generally.
Yeah.
Even people that act like they don't or don't care, enough negativity, even if it's from people that you don't know.
Like, maybe I suck.
You start going, dude, what?
Maybe I do suck.
So, maybe I do suck. Yeah. Anyway, it sucks. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
That's my challenge. That's my challenge to our listeners this week. Just the next week.
Don't be a dick.
Don't post anything negative. I don't care if it's about politics, gun control. Dude, just post positive stuff. You could have your opinion on either one of those things I just talked about. Politics or gun control. Post something positive about it.
Yeah.
do your best, man. Like the negativity needs to stop.
We just had a TED talk.
Is that what that is? Is that what TED Talk is? I
no,
was
not
thinking
really, but
about
kinda.
the old Saturday Night Live bit with Mike Myers, the church lady. It's like I think that maybe
I don't remember that one.
Maybe it was it wasn't that one. It was the guy that used to look in a mirror and he was like, people like me, you're nice. People like me. I don't remember how it went, but like, and gosh darn it, you're just a good guy or something.
Oh, I think I do know what you're
something
talking
like
about.
that. It was like positivity or I don't know. It wasn't daily affirmation, but people that used to watch Saturday Night Live know what I'm talking about. Let's get Josh on the phone. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back from that first commercial break. Our first guest of the night is brought to you by our title sponsor, Cherubies USA and X-Brand Goggles. You guys know all about Cherubies USA, whether it's full plastic kits, individual pieces, hand guards, chain guides and sliders, or anything else they offer. Visit CherubysUSA.com and support our title sponsor. And many of the top privateers choose X-Brand Goggles. Privateers like Kyle Chisholm, Ben LeMay, Ryan Brees, and many more, as well as top GNCC guys like Craig DeLong choose X-Brand with multiple lines to choose from. Visit xbrand.com, go to your local dealership, and ask for X-Brand, distributed through WPS. Tonight, at Cherubies and X-Brand brings us our boy, Josh Jelly Ellingson. What's up, dude?
How's it going, guys?
It's going good, man. Are you more prepared for this interview tonight than you were at Hangtown or at Paula when JT came to you?
Yes. I think anyone would be more prepared than anything than when that happened.
That was awesome, though, dude. I was like, oh, look, there's Jelly. And it almost looked like you were – okay, so he was asking – I think it was after the second moto – or into the second moto, if I'm not mistaken. And he was sort of asking about Eli and I think kind of, if he was okay. And, like, the way I took it, like, the look on your face was like, oh, I can't really answer that question. But that wasn't really the case, right?
No, I mean – and – he asked me if he could come to me at any point of that moto.
Yeah.
And I said yes, and it was all good. It's just, for me, it's hard because, like, the guys are coming around the track. I got people in my ear on my headphones. It's just so much going on, and I'm trying to hear him, but there's bikes going by. It's just chaos. And, yeah, I mean, it wasn't JT. It was basically me just blowing it.
That's funny, though, dude. I loved it.
Can't multitask at all.
Oh, shoot, dude. We talk about that all the time. I can't either. Like, I get so distracted when anything is not as it should be. Like, even...
Yeah, if I have, like, four voices, I'm like, it's like brain fog.
Yep, I can't do that at all. I go to work and I'm listening to music or whatever, and the guy next to me is trying to talk or anything like that, I cannot... I can't do it. It all becomes a mesh of noise, and it just it doesn't work for me. So you saying you have other people, like a bunch of people in your ear, I'm out. I can't do it. I have to be like, dude, Bobby, I can't wear these, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I want to know, man. I think the last time I talked to you, I think was for the article that we did, and it was right before Salt Lake City. Has the 450 Supercross Championship win now a multi-time championship winning mechanic? Has that all set in?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, in the moment, like, we had a big celebration. We had a lot of fun. And then you just go 2 weeks and you're into outdoors, and it's like it's an accomplishment that you've had, and it's amazing. But your focus totally transitions to, like, that didn't even happen. Now we're trying to go again.
Oh,
like,
man.
it just restarts.
Yeah, you really don't get to enjoy it for a long period of time.
No, it's short.
Yeah.
And obviously the accomplishment will last forever, but in this season, it's like, I was sweet. We're back to ground zero and going back at it again.
Yeah, because I would think, like, take a regular job. Let's take, like, say, real estate or car sale. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I'm thinking, like, if somebody becomes, like, they're the salesman of the month, or they do the best for a period. At some point, like, maybe it doesn't. I was gonna say, like, maybe they don't. It doesn't just start over, but maybe it does. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, if you win a Grammy, like, you sort of get elevated to a different level. And it doesn't just go back to normal. I don't know if I'm putting it like I'm not putting this into words the way I'm thinking it. But
it almost just keeps leveling you up and leveling you up.
Yeah, but you sort of step up for one night as the best mechanic, and it's like, oh, you're back to just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Crazy. You got anything,
Back
Scotty?
Back to battle.
Back to the grind. Yeah, and I got questions on the grind, but did you have something?
Yeah. So, all right, Josh. So you're sitting there after round or Moto 2 at Paula, watching the bike, thinking about how this season is going to go. To compare to at Hangtown second moto, you just got the win, sitting there watching the bike. How much did your outlook for how this season was going to go change from those 2 weeks?
I wouldn't say it quite has changed that much. After Paula, obviously, we didn't. Second moto was better. Our first moto was not the greatest, but it's kind of the same story that we kind of ran into Supercross. Like, we went to the first round. I mean, had a decent showing. It wasn't on the podium or a win by any means,
right?
But we came away from the first round with, okay, we've got work to do, and we know which direction to go to.
Yeah.
So that week in between Paula and Hangtown, we did the same thing in Supercross after first round. We went and tested for a week in California, and then came to Hangtown. And first moto was better, but second moto even went a little further. Like, he came out and kind of showed us the beast mode Eli Tomac, like, came from 5th or 6th and just ran everyone down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not the question of if it's going to happen. It's just trying to get him comfortable to make it happen, really.
Yeah,
to get him to ride to his level that he can.
Yeah, I think if I were to add on to Scotty's question, like at Paula, if you were legitimately worried, like if his first moto was bad because his knee was bothering him, and that was the worry in the pits, then I think post-race you might be like, oh, shit. But everything I've heard is that it wasn't the knee. It was some bike issues and some settings that they went with that, you guys just had bike problems, or it wasn't the way he wasn't comfortable. And that changes things because that can be fixed, right? The knee,
right,
that could be long-term. So I feel like you were probably not that stressed because it was not the knee.
Yeah, exactly. It was just trying to get him comfortable. I mean, we really didn't have like I said, you only have 2 weeks in between series, and Eli's on a brand new bike. I mean, we had a decent amount of time to get ready for Supercross, but for outdoors, like before Supercross, he rode outdoors on it 2 days, and then we got ready for Supercross. So the outdoor prep has been way less than Supercross, but we're in the direction that we want to be going, and it's
obviously
showing in his results.
Yeah.
And he's getting better and better. And I mean, that's how Eli maybe operates a little bit. Like, he just builds and builds and builds, and that what makes him so great.
Yeah, until the end when everybody was like, what can we even do to beat this guy? So this season we were just talking in our opening segment that, it really, right now things are looking good. Jason looks so damn good. I feel like Chase has really stepped up a level from where he's been. Like, he's always been really, really fast with making those dumb mistakes, and I kind of starting to feel like maybe his mental game has gotten over that. So this could be, we never know what Kenny's going to do. So this is, as of right now, 2 races in, season's shaping up to look really good. Probably very difficult for you with your job. What I want to ask you, though, before we get into more of the season, and I want to talk about the fork change. He stays in Colorado, and you're in Florida during the week. What does your job entail during the week to help? Do you do anything that helps Eli specifically during the week, or is it sort of just helping out with the team?
During the week, it's more of just keeping Kyle, his practice guy, if he needs anything that we got to send him, or if we're trying anything to send him, it's basically just keeping Kyle stocked up with everything to keep you on the track during the week. But like for racing wise, we don't get back till Monday, late Monday. So then we have Tuesday, Wednesday. We still have to prep all our stuff to go to the next race, which is build day plastics, any parts that change. So we only have 2 days for that. and then we're flying out Thursday. So it's pretty busy just handling all that stuff as well. And then like when I was with Justin, I did the practice stuff as well. So it was just wide open, still keeping the practice bike going. But this year, having Eli in Colorado, he has a practice guy, and it's a little bit mellower, which is nice. But for them, it's just keeping Kyle stocked with everything that he needs. And if we're changing anything or trying anything new, we try to get it out to him as quick as possible.
So yeah, no hanging out at the lake, on the boat with your chick on Wednesdays, because it's a down day.
No, we don't really get much down days. We're still at the shop all day.
Yeah, grinding. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I figured that was the case, but
Yeah, so Josh, so the Yamaha bike or Star Bike and Yamaha in general has kind of become widely known as the best performing bike that's out right now.
Blue Crew, baby.
Everybody seems to want to go there. But I kind of wanted to know from a mechanic's perspective, how is it working on it compared to other bikes that you've worked on? Is it better in that way as well?
I mean, my whole career has been on Yamahas, really.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know if you'd worked on anything else.
You didn't read my article.
Nope.
Yeah. But I mean, I had a Honda as a kid growing up and tinkered on that, but as a race mechanic career, it's just been on Blue Crew.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Yeah. I'm sure you've talked to people that have worked on other bikes.
Yeah, I mean, on build days, like you see the KTM guys, they bust their bikes out, and I think for Yamaha we have more bolts in the rear fender than maybe they have on their whole bike. But
yeah,
so build days take us a little bit longer, but I mean, Yamaha's a great manufacturer and a great bike, so it's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, I started stripping my 22 YZ250 down this weekend. I got the suspension off, so I was just putting all the works connection parts on and radiator braces on. I was like, damn, there's a lot of bolts in this radiator shroud. Yeah, it's just
bolts and collars.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to figure all that out compared to my Hondas.
Let me change my question then.
Okay.
What do you think about the bike that benefits Eli the most?
That fits Eli the most?
Benefits, fits, however.
Oh, benefits Eli the most. I think it's got to be two things, the chassis is really good and the power that the engine puts out. I mean, Eli's the rider that the more you give him, the more he'll use. So, the thing is, they're so fast. Like we did a mechanics ride day before the season started. Like Star just kind of threw us a little get together, and all the mechanics got to ride. And I rode one of the 450s, and it blows my mind how those guys can ride them things so fast.
Dude, I've rode those and it's basically it's stock form. I rode a 20 stock 450 Yamaha, and then I rode Kiefer's 21, and it's got some work done to it. They're just, I don't know. I've been on Honda.
They're too fast.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I mean, all 450s are too fast for me. So that's just a Suzuki's going to be too fast for me let's be clear. But there's something about the way the power delivery is of that bike that it's just
they're tractors.
So comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It sounds so freaking mean, and it just delivers the power so perfect in the forms I've rode. I can't even imagine the Star bikes, but yeah, even my YZ250, dude, it just rips and it tractors. I can almost ride it like a 4-stroke. Like it just pulls.
I've never actually got to ride a YZ250. I had a CR125 back in the day, but I've always wanted to ride a 252 stroke.
Well, I got one whenever we're somewhere close, man. You can take it anytime you want. It's fun. Thanks to Steve Mathis and Chris Kiefer for hooking me up with that thing.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It really is. I'm very stoked. Let's talk about this fork change, man, in between motos. Clearly it made a big difference. Probably not an easy decision to make in between motos. I'm sure there was a lot of discussions. My understanding is Gilly it came from Gilly somehow. I don't know how it all went down. Don't know if you can even talk about it. What was the mood in the pit after Moto 1 when this discussion was going on? Was it sort of like, oh, I don't know about doing that right now? Or like just kind of walk us through the process of Star Yamaha and Eli's decision between first and second moto? Can you, if you can?
A little bit. I
Okay.
mean, I guess my question is
So our understanding is he went from like
It
a
actually-
hybrid
we
to an
actually-
air.
well, he did, but he was on the fork the whole day. We didn't change forks in between motos.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood, but I thought that's what I understood was it was in between motos. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I mean, we made some changes, but fork was the whole, like a full fork change. No,
okay. All
it
right.
was the same fork from first to second moto, with just some Gilly did some tweaking on the whole setup.
So okay, so this is what I heard. You just correct me though. I was told he started out on like a hybrid fork and went to full air. That's not correct? Or you can't say. Just say pass if we need to pass.
No, we could talk about it. I mean,
Okay.
But no, I mean, a fork change wasn't in between motos, just some setting wise, but that's about all that we got really going on.
All right.
with that.
All right. Well, whatever changed, it made that much of a difference to him. Like how did he feel after Moto 1 versus after Moto 2 as far as how the bike felt? Was it like it obviously he rode much better. Did he say like clearly it's much better the performance, the feeling of the bike?
Yeah, I mean, comfortability wise, with
Okay.
him, everything it's really, I guess you'd call it touchy. Like the minor things will put him to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And then once he's feeling comfortable, he'll push that bar even further and further. Whereas if he's not 100% comfortable, like obviously you'll see and have seen that he won't go 100%.
Yep. He's talked about that. Yeah.
But just getting the settings a little bit better for Moto 2, and then you've seen he went out first lap, felt comfortable, and then just laid the hammer down.
Okay, that's maturity, man, and like it's you wish the young guys, the Justin Coopers, even the Romanos, those guys could see that and go, hey, man, that's okay. Like you want those kids to be able to pick up on that from the team, like that'd be a great mentor type thing. But those young kids just they're not wired like that generally. You just gotta 100%, no matter what the situation is, pin it to win it.
Yeah, I mean that's time. Like those kids, they're in the 250 class, and they think every race will change their whole career. So every race is balls to the walls as fast as they can go.
Yeah.
Whereas like you get to the point in Eli's career where, I mean, he's been through that. He probably did that in the beginning, but now at this point he knows what he's got to do to manage, and he knows when to push it, when not to push it. And that's what kind of you see how his career has gone, and it shows. I mean, the races he's lined up for, and it shows the veteran mentality has paid off for him.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about working with some of these younger kids like Romano. And as I was about to ask you that, I realized, and we've been joking about this, for like the last 6 weeks, we've had a Star Yamaha employee on the show every week, whether it be Justin, Colt,
Probably longer than that.
Duffy last week. Who else have
We had
Romano,
Nichols,
Levi
Colt.
Kitchen. So like I'll be at Lakewood this weekend. I'm coming and talking to Bobby. We're gonna have to do some kind of deal. Because
To get him on.
yeah, we're having your guys on every week. We need some kind of collaboration with Star Yamaha, especially since I'm Blue Crew now.
So
We'll talk to
I
Coker.
guess question. Yeah, just try to get them all on. It'll be the Star Show.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I really want to ask you is, like, talking to Romano, talking to Levi in the last couple of weeks, like, these kids have a lot of talent. They seem to know they have a lot to work on. Like, they're not super egotistical kids. Levi talked about needing to work on starts. Romano said he's pretty good at starts, but he's got a lot to work on. Do you have much interaction with the younger guys every day when you're at the track? Are you kind of, talking to them, giving them advice, or is it sort of a separation there?
No, I mean, I talk to all of them. Like,
Yeah.
Levi and Nick and Matt, and I mean, they're all great kids. I mean, they're at the farm every day riding, so I'll go out there and watch them. And with Nick, this is his first year, his first season of outdoors, and he's pulling hole shots and running up front for a little bit, which with him, he'll be experienced to figure out how to keep himself in those positions. And I mean, finishing top 10s is great. And then Levi, he's really fast and coming from the back and putting in good results. Me, myself, no, I don't give them any advice, but the whole team has a friendship. If anything, it's giving each other crap over stuff, whether it's bicycles or dirt bikes. That's mainly what it is.
Yeah, it's like a typical friendship family situation. So yeah, I like it.
So there's being a mechanic in this sport is obviously, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of stress because you have somebody's kind of life in your hands at a certain point, and also there's tons of travel. I just wondered, do you ever think about maybe doing like a different kind of mechanic job, or maybe you're more stationary, and then what kind of keeps you coming back to the motocross?
Yeah, I've thought about what the future entails after racing. Obviously, I'm not saying if you want to, it's very difficult to have a family and build an at-home status being on the road so much as a mechanic. So that's definitely something that's on my mind that may have to change in the future. What that'll be, I'm not sure yet. I mean, what keeps me coming back right now is obviously I've had really good riders that I've gotten the opportunity to work for, and basically it's the same job whether you're winning or you're working for a guy who's in 10th. So to get good results with your rider is kind of what keeps you coming back. Like, the work is the same whether you're first or you're in 10th, but getting good results makes the work worth it, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, it's kind of the same for the rider, right? I mean, you're racing a motorcycle either way, but the work you put in dictates what you get out. I mean, maybe there's a little more talent involved when it comes to the rider position, but yeah, I like that. You get out what you put in, and you have that same drive to win.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I love it.
All right, Josh, so we have a listener question. They wanted to know, does Eli help the new guys at all in between motos or after practice, or kind of what is he talking to them at all, or is he kind of,
That makes me think of the conversation with Christian Craig last week on Pulp MX, where he asked, did you hear that, Josh?
Yeah, I listened to that.
That was good, but anyway, go ahead. That was funny.
No, I mean, between trucks, like the 250 side and the 450 side, Eli's kind of, we debrief after the motos, and then he's in his motorhome getting ready for the next moto, reviewing tape and stuff like that. I mean, there really isn't a whole lot of time. And I mean, we got 6 250 guys by the time we went over there and debriefed and came back. But I mean, another point is they're basically on the line when we're getting off.
Yeah.
So for any interaction is difficult. I mean, there'll be times where like we'll talk about stuff, and then like track changes or something doing to the track or line choices that get relayed from team to team, which is beneficial. Like 250 guys just come off and they say this or they see this, then it gets relayed to us while we're on the line so we can report it to our guys. But yeah, the time is so limited.
Yeah.
That's why I have radios.
Everyone
right?
is just wide open from the time the motos start to the time they end.
How great would it be if there was enough time, like when the 250 guys come off, they come back to the tent, Eli walks over, Levi, quit being a pussy, jump that double. Romano, hey, you need to get your elbows up. Like if they could go out there and pay attention, he could like give them a little something every race.
Sit them down.
Yeah. How great would that be?
Isn't that what Phil does?
Yeah. That is what Phil does during the week. Yeah. I got a couple more for you, man. And I don't know that I've ever talked to you about this, but I was kind of just scrolling through their Instagram and the triathlon, man. I don't think I asked you about this when we talked before. Like, it looks like it might have been a little while since you've done one of those, but what motivated you to do a triathlon? Because that seems like pure torture.
Yeah, I did it. That was the one I did in 19, and then we were
Yeah.
going to go again, and I think 20, and obviously COVID hit and slowed the racing down, and I haven't got back to be able to do another one. But it's kind of like I'll shorten this whole story up, but like when Will Hahn was our manager, me and him started, well, he was obviously training, he was a professional racer, but I started running, and then me, him, and Seth did a half marathon in California. And then from there, it just evolved to bicycling, and I'll bicycle with the riders. And that's kind of like my side passion from racing. I enjoy cycling and swimming and running. And then all the guys' trainer, Swanee, he kind of got me into doing like little sprint tries. So I did a couple of those and then just worked my way up. And then in 2019, me and him did the half Ironman in Indian Wells.
Okay. Yeah.
And I mean, it was a full year of training leading up to it. And during it, I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, it was 5 hours of just brutal. But when I got done, like, it was probably one of the best feelings
I can see that.
I've felt in a long time. Like,
Yeah.
during it, you're like, I'm never doing one of these things again. And then you get done, and it's like, I'll do it again next year.
Wow. Yeah, I can see the elation or whatever that you would have afterwards, but man, I'm not a runner.
You get a blister in the wrong spot, and then like the next like 3 hours is just hell, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. I like the training side, and the fitness side is like, that's pretty much my side passion that I really enjoy as well. And I've been doing a lot of studying into that, and I don't know, that's something I really enjoy.
That's impressive, man. Like, yeah, that's not for me. I'm not into the running. I can't even get myself to go ride bicycles, which I need to, because I got challenged last night or whatever from Kiefer to go do the Vet National. So if I'm gonna do that, I got to get in shape, and I got to get some financing. So Patreon.com for our listeners, Patreon.com. But anyway, all right, man. One more thing. We're coming to Lakewood. We were talking again before the race, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Eli should be the favorite. Just altitude, home track, et cetera, et cetera. You look for these little things. What are your expectations? Do we go 1-1? Do you have a goal, or is it, just be, let's just go out? Give me what you're thinking going in.
I mean, it's basically just going to go 1-1 would be awesome, but just to go in and put in the best result that we can. I mean, Chase is going fast. Jason's going fast. Ken's going fast. Like, to go 1-1 is difficult with how fast everyone's going.
Of course.
But, I mean, Eli's good there. It's his home track, so we'll just have to see.
Well, I will be there, Josh. I may be holding a pit board for our co-host TJ. His son Doc Smith is making his pro debut.
Oh wow!
So if he qualifies, I'll be looking for that interview. Even though JT's not going to be there this week, so I'm probably out. I probably won't get on TV. But
good luck.
I may be down on the line. I may not. But I will see you this weekend, man. I'm looking forward to getting up there.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely, Josh. Take care. Josh Jelly Ellingson. Thanks, man.
Yep. See ya.
See ya. All right. Thanks for Josh coming on, dude. I like that guy. He no matter who we have on, I always say I like that guy. I really do. I feel like Josh and I
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, that was a good interview, but I hate that guy.
I really feel like Josh and I have sort of kind of had a little friendship over the last couple of years. Just we talk here and there. We see each other, and he's always just very friendly and responds in text. So I love seeing his success with Justin and now Eli. It's really cool. He made it, like, that had to be a tough decision, leaving Justin, who he was very close with, and moving, and it's not a tough decision to say, I get to go race for Eli.
Yeah.
But to leave somebody that you're tight with, that you've had so much success with, that might even be moving to the 450 class in another year and doing really well, like, it's
maybe he'll get the opportunity to go back once.
Yeah, but it's really cool to see him have the success and where he came from. You should go read that article on Racer X Online. It's not that hard to find.
Where do I find it?
Racer X Online. All you got to do is search Josh Ellingson.
All right, I will.
I actually just reread it today, just kind of refreshing myself with some things.
You reread your own article?
I did. I scanned through it just to refresh myself for some stuff for this interview tonight. Okay.
I will say.
Let's take a commercial break. Oh, go ahead.
I will say if it would be so hilarious if they cut to you as Doc's mechanic during the middle of the race. Like, oh yeah, we're hoping to make a couple passes and get.
Oh, I think I'd be like, we like first moto, right? If it's first moto, like we made some setting mistakes this moto, but second moto we'll be, we're gonna be all over
top
Jet.
5,
We'll be, Jet and Hunter better watch out because we're coming. So yeah. Commercial break. We'll be back with Cindy Thomas. All right, we are back, and our next guest of the night, she's going to be brought to you by Fly Racing. I feel like she probably knows a little bit about Fly Racing. Fly Racing has been developing and innovating its gear line since 1998. Fly Racing is the only choice if you want the best. Just ask current riders like Zach Osborne, RJ Hampshire, Damon Bradshaw, Justin Brayton, Carson Mumford, Jalik Swoll, and many more. Visit your local dealership. Ask for Fly Racing, distributed by WPS. Tonight, Fly Racing brings us Cindy Thomas. How you doing, Miss Thomas?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing really good. So you are the mother of our buddy Jason Thomas, and you are a former scorer for AMA Supercross, correct?
Correct.
So I feel like you're going to have some stories for us tonight, I hope. Maybe some that JT doesn't want told, but we want to hear them. Really what I want to ask you first, though, is just, like, how did your family get involved with the sport? Was it something that you were around before Jason was born, or did he discover it?
No, when, I guess in like 76, my husband, he was Jason's mechanic, he started racing some just locally. And then at the local races, that's kind of how I started scoring, because he was always not getting scored right. So I'm like, I think I can do this. So I was doing it on my own.
Nothing's changed.
I just went to him and said, look, you're missing something here. So, but he raced like the Eastern Nationals. And his best finish, Frank's, was he got an 11th at St. Pete National. That was like in 1978. And then I was already scoring for the Nationals, the East Coast Nationals. So
okay,
like St. Pete, Gatorback, Atlanta, they raced at AIR back then.
Yeah.
Talladega. And then in 79 was my very first Supercross race that I worked. And I was 6 months pregnant with Jason. And it was at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. And that was the race. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Hannah won, but it was like so muddy that they changed the laps to only 12 laps.
Oh yeah, I've heard that story. Yeah,
ridiculously muddy. And at that time, I thought, what did I get myself into? Back then, there was no scoring tower. We scored on the floor, right by the finish line. And Chicken Metastovich thought it was the most hilarious thing that every time he went by to spray the scores.
Oh, that sounds about right.
We looked like little gingerbread men.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was horrific. And then going in, what I remember that night, going in after the race, you have to go down in the tunnel. Well, it was so slick clay from all the rain that I looked like I just slid into home base. I just slid all the way down the tunnel, and they wouldn't even let me go in the building. I mean,
yeah.
We used to do payout. We used to do payout after the race at night, after the race, and to the riders, they wouldn't even let me go in the building. And Frank made me ride back to the hotel in the back of the van.
That's awesome.
With a bike. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like you had raced.
Yeah. That was my first encounter with Supercross.
Wow. Hey, Mrs. Thomas, do you have earbuds in?
Yeah, I do. You want me to take them out?
If you don't mind, it's kind of going in and out. Okay. I want to see if that's the problem.
It might be my phone. I might have to go somewhere else.
It's okay. The volume is just kind of going up and down. I want to try it without them, if you don't mind.
Okay. Is that any better?
That is better. It's still really low. Let me see if I can get this turned up. I think I got all the volumes maxed out, though. Let's go with that. Let's see how that does. So at what point do you get in? So you're at AMA Supercross. How many years were you with AMA Supercross?
With Supercross, 42, I think.
Wow. So you saw the progression of the sport for a long time, a lot of different eras.
Yeah. I worked nationals too until I think it was probably like 2011, maybe, when they switched to from AMA actually doing the nationals to when Davey Coombs bought it out. When they bought it out, then the Coombs kind of changed the format where the scorers, or the workers, we would have to come in and work all day Friday,
right,
and all day Saturday. And I managed a credit union for 30 years. I mean, I was a manager, and it got to where I did it for 2 years, but I'm like, I can't take every Friday off. So I had to quit. I had to quit doing the nationals, which I hated. But yeah, I worked Supercross forever, and I loved it. I mean, I know all the stories, and I didn't get that part of it, like never change AMA, but it was, it was really, I mean, we were all, only like 3 or 4 people are full-time AMA, like Pelletier and Canfield and Tooley. So everybody else was kind of like contract labor, but on the weekends. But yeah, it was a great job. I loved it. I was exhausted.
Oh, I bet.
From working a full-time job, then traveling Saturday and Sunday, and then going back to work on Monday. But
yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I have a regular day job, and I don't go to every race. I do 2 or 3, maybe 4 Supercross a year. But those weekends, and then coming right back and going right back to work, and trying to do podcasts at night. You're trying to raise a family. Yeah, there's never any time to rest, and you kind of go like, why am I doing this? And you, because I really, really like it. It's fun. Yeah.
Getting back when Jason was little, he raced, I don't know, when he was about 4 and 5, he raced like Pee-wees around Florida, like Dade City, and there was motocross in Marion County and some things around here. And then when he got about 5, I think, he just decided he didn't like it. I don't know if he didn't like the whole Pee-wee dad thing.
Oh yeah, right.
But he didn't like it, so he quit racing until he was 11. Yeah. And he did all the regular soccer, t-ball, baseball. He did all that kind of thing. And then when he was 11, he decided he wanted to race, and I'm like, oh my God, please don't do this.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. Like, as a mother, that's hard, right? I mean, my son, thank God he really didn't get into sport, but like, you're terrified probably constantly.
Oh yeah. The worst. I mean, I was glad I was a scorer because I got to be there, for one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really couldn't just concentrate on him because the races that I've gone to that he raced when I wasn't working were horrible because I was just a nervous wreck the whole time. And at a Supercross race, all I could do was glance around to see where he was, and if the crowd went, oh, then I was like, oh my God.
Right. Trying to find him. Yeah.
But it kind of kept my sanity about me.
As a scorer, JT wasn't first every lap. Pretty sure he was first.
Most LCQs he was.
That's true. That's true. That's awesome.
Yeah, Cindy, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so earlier you mentioned, that y'all didn't even have a score tower and obviously didn't have transponders. You did it straight from the floor. I just kind of wanted to know some of like the old tricks that maybe you had personally, or some of the little things that y'all did to keep everything organized. Because I've that's always been like, I've raced my whole life, and I've always wondered how do they. Well,
I lose track of them now.
Yeah, people fall down.
Who's in first?
I just wanted to know some of y'all's little tricks of the trade that y'all had, that y'all kept up with those everybody each lap.
Well, it's it has evolved. I can say, like everything else. But when I first started scoring, of course, there was no transponders. So, I mean, the scores were it. That was it. And so back then, we had 3 scorers. And, like at the finish line, the two would outrule the third one if they saw it differently.
Okay.
And then when transponders were first coming in, we went to 2 scorers because at that point we were kind of the backup. I mean, we were like I don't know if you remember the race, but I can't remember what race it was when Webb and Roxon, I think it was Webb and Roxon, crossed the finish line like right together.
Yeah, Dallas 19, I think.
Yeah, we kind of had to be the tiebreaker there because, as you know, if you're at a Supercross, the transponder is not on the finish line.
Yeah, it's usually the bottom of the jump,
bottom of the
right?
hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's always a thing of contention where is the finish line the finish line or is the transponder the finish line?
Right.
So that one was kind of, who was it? But as far as scoring, Supercross and Nationals are, of course, a lot different. Nationals, you have a lot more time to, get all the riders, but there is 40 riders. So it's, it's a little harder that way. But Supercross, as long as you can keep up with the leader, you're okay because, and it's easy to do when you're standing in the tower, but when you're scoring, and I'm sure you know this, but every time the leader goes by, you start a new lap. It doesn't matter, you start a new lap and then everybody goes under that till the leader comes around again. And the difficult part for the scorers to learn, which was, I don't know, I just always had a thing with numbers, but when the riders go by, you just write them down, and the new scorers, they just write in columns. That's all they do. They just put the leader down and write in columns. But then as you get practice with it, you start circling. You know who the lap riders are, so you circle them.
Okay.
And you can look back from the lap before or the last lap they were in and see what lap they should be on, and then you write a little number, like if they're in lap 12. But they're lapped, maybe they're lap 11.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
So, you just keep going that way. You might have only 5 people in that aren't lapped, so, and then at the end you have to go through and first you list the guys that were in the same lap, and then you go down and list the guys that were 1 lap down and 2 laps down until you get to the end.
Yeah, that makes sense. I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, the process seems simple. Actually, in keeping up with it probably is not so simple.
It makes my brain hurt.
Yeah. But you had one.
Yeah, so that kind of goes into a question that some of our listeners had is if you had, what's like the most maybe outrageous complaint you ever had, or did anybody contest?
I want to know.
Did anybody contest their result, or what's maybe the craziest story you have about that?
Jason Thomas.
I don't know, but,
I got 5th.
One of the first outdoors I worked, this is not Supercross, but of course there weren't transponders, like I said, but one of the first outdoors I worked, this guy that was a local guy, and I don't know if anybody ever heard of him, but his name is Kippy Pierce, and he was a pretty big pro in Florida. Well, it was an outdoor national, and he was racing like Malcolm Smith or something, it was back then, but maybe not that far back, but I'm not Malcolm Smith, Marty Smith. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. Or Chuck Son or something like that, but it wasn't that far back, but it was, all the pros were there. And I was back then, a lot of the racers' wives scored because, it was a way to pay their way because, there wasn't humongous salaries back then.
Sure.
And I was scoring with 2 girls that I really didn't know, but at the end of the race, Kippy, the leader, whoever it was, went down. So Kippy was in second, but he was pretty far back, like maybe 30 seconds back or something like that. Well, they not thinking that, this is, I know who it was. It's back when Mickey Kessler raced and those guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it was Debbie Kessler was his wife at that time. But when the leader came by, whoever it was, the top guy, he wasn't the leader anymore. He was in second. Kippy went into the lead because he went down. Well, they didn't catch it. So I was the only one that caught it. And so when they threw the checkered flag on the wrong guy.
Oh boy.
It's like because we were on the floor. I mean, we didn't have a tower back then.
Yeah.
We were mobbed. I mean, mobbed. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, y'all got it wrong. And because all these guys were like, y'all got it wrong. And I'm like, no, I don't have it wrong. And that was the only thing that they really got on the scores about. But I mean, I don't know if you were at the race or if you were watching the race. And if you weren't there, you didn't see it. But there was one race, and I can't think where it was. Wasn't, I don't know, it's probably 2017, 18, something like that, at a Supercross. One of the riders ran into the scoring tower.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And the roof of the scoring tower actually fell on our heads during the race.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're still standing there trying to score with this holding up I think I'm trying to think who was in the Thule or somebody was in the scoring tower holding up the roof because it actually fell on our head.
Wow. Yeah. And I did not know that. That's dangerous.
And I remember Jason was so mad because he wasn't racing, he had already retired.
Yeah.
And he was up in the press box with Mathis, and Mathis is laughing like, look at that just on their head. And he's like, my mom is in here.
Steve just thinks stuff's funny when things happen to other people.
And then there was a race at Orlando. I don't know. Jason may have been racing then, so it was probably, I don't know, late, like 98, 99, 2000, something like that. I know that Larry Ward won that race.
Yeah, it wasn't many.
No, in Orlando. It was in Orlando.
Oh, okay.
This race was in Orlando. No, it wasn't Larry Ward. It was Damon Huffman. Damon
okay.
Huffman won. But it was real muddy. The race itself wasn't raining, but it had rained really bad before the race, and the track was really muddy. And the scoring tower was kind of leaning, and the whole race they're saying, now if this thing starts to go, y'all got to jump out.
Oh my God! Wow, give me some hazard pay. That's great. Let me ask you a few questions about JT. So, just so you know, in case you don't, I've only been quote unquote inside the industry media for about 5 years now. Jason has been so good to me even before I started doing podcasting and get involved with Mathis, and just as an amateur guy, he helped me out, with gear and discounts. And like I the first time I met him, I was super, super nervous because I'm sure you hear the people, like he kind of looks scary. He looks mad, but he's really, really nice. Like, he really is. He's funny. But he scared me at first, and he still sometimes I'm like, dude, is he mad? And then he'll say something funny, like, okay, he's cool. But like, do you see that? Like, as his mother, do you see, man, you kind of look mean sometimes, or you don't see that at all?
No, I was thankful when he was racing that I was working.
Yeah.
Because what you thought you saw during the race day was actually him.
Okay.
I mean, he was almost unapproachable. I would go in, how are you? Okay. Anything I can do for you? Okay.
Yeah.
And especially if he did not have a good practice time. Oh, forget it. So, I know a lot of it was nerves.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really know, and he's definitely come out of that. But he was extremely shy when he was young. I mean,
wow. Okay.
Really shy. And I think, a lot of that is he just didn't go up to people and talk to them,
Yeah.
you know? And so, but I told him, I saw a picture of him the other day, and I texted him, I said, well, I know where you got that resting bitch face from.
I didn't want to use that term with you, but that's what we hear a lot. Yeah, he has the resting dick face. And
Yeah, he got it from me.
yeah.
It's funny. The photo I chose because I couldn't find one because you didn't have an Instagram or anything, so I just
She does have an Instagram.
Well, you didn't put it on the thing. Like,
Okay, I thought I tagged it, but
anyway,
yeah.
so I just used a picture of Jason, and he has
Yeah.
that face in the picture.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny.
Yeah, he really is, and I think anybody that's done the fly racing, VIP experience knows how good of a guy he is. But if you listen to any of the pulp stuff or his own podcast, you realize like he's super smart about the sport. He knows so much history. He's so friendly. But yeah, if you just see him from a distance, you go, ooh, yeah. I don't know. Like the first time I met him face to face, like I had kind of texted with him or whatever, and I had asked for a jersey, and he brought me a jersey, and I was scared to death to ask for the jersey that he had already said he had for me. Like it was, but yeah, now he's just, he's I consider him a buddy, but how are you surprised at where he's come post race? Like professional racers, we always go, man, what are they going to do next? Especially the guys that don't make the millions and millions of dollars. Like, what are you going to do post race? And he really has established himself so well at WPS and Fly, but then also with the media stuff and now TV with the GPs and what he's doing this year. Like he really has come into his own and like a second and third career almost.
Yeah. I'm extremely proud of him.
I bet.
But, he has always had a really, I'm looking for the word.
Yeah.
He's really had a good work ethic always. Sure. Because, he was not the fastest guy. He rode with Chad. He rode with Timmy. He rode with Tortelli. And he always, he had to work as hard as they did. He wasn't the fastest guy, but he always put in the work. Now, I will tell you, I was not very happy when he decided because after high school, he went to college. He had a scholarship. And after about a year and a half of college, he decided that he was going to race full time. I was not happy.
I can imagine.
I was happy. But, he.
Did we lose you? Hang tight. We may have lost her.
We need one of those. I need one of those pictures of like technical difficulty, like the old, the different colors on it.
Sorry, did I lose you?
Yeah, we lost you. Yeah, so if you just kind of start that story, you weren't happy that he let me hit record again here. Yeah, you weren't happy about him leaving college.
No, he kind of knew the drill that if he left, he could stay home and go to college. It was paid for. Everything was okay. And Frank was still his mechanic and he could race. But if he moved out, because mainly we couldn't afford to pay for two places.
Yeah, makes sense.
He moved out that he had to make it on his own to do that. So he knew that if he was going to race, he had to do it. So he's always worked extremely hard. And then I didn't really know what he was going to do after he quit racing. So when he quit racing, he kind of was thinking that he had kind of been talking to them that he might be a rep. So we were kind of looking for that, but there wasn't any rep jobs opening up, I think is what it was. And so he really didn't know what he was going to do. And then just kind of out of the blue, I don't know if it was out of the blue to me, they offered him that job, but he had to move to Boise, which again, I wasn't happy, but it was a great opportunity. And so he went to Boise, and he was really, really afraid when he went to Boise because his first position with fly was international sales. So he was going to be overseas all the time. But then that changed, and then he was in Boise. So
yeah, he seems to be really. He's like I said, he's established himself there, and I mean everybody. He's been there for a long time. The company's come a long way. Obviously, it just went through a big change this last year, but I think what he does with them is great. The way he represents the company is great. I'm very impressed with your son. I think you guys did a great job, and he is a very nice and intelligent young man. I like JT a lot. What I want to also ask you, as his mother, because I hear some of this in this conversation we're having. He's your son, so you obviously you defend him. You have his back. When he gets in these battles with Mathis, do you listen to the podcast very much?
Oh yes, I do, and I just have to bite my tongue, because I love Mathis, and I know him and JT are great friends, but I can't. I got warned a long time ago to stay off of social media.
I think it'd be great if you gave it back to Steve.
So I'm not the raging mother.
Yeah.
But I just kind of text him, and he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's I say all the time, like I think Mathis believes probably 70 or 80% of what he says, and then some of it is for the show, and about 99% of what they disagree on, he stands firm on just to frustrate JT.
Oh yeah.
And it probably goes the other way too, but it seems to be more evident in Steve, because some of Steve's opinions or his rants are so out there. But I work for Steve. Steve has done a million good things for me as well. But there is nothing better, in my opinion, than the dynamic between JT, Steve, and Weeds on the review show. Like, that is the gold level of podcasting, and I love it.
Yeah, I just have to laugh most of the time. Sometimes I can tell when Jason's really getting mad, but
yeah, and you know what? Steve doesn't take it back anywhere near as well as he dishes it out.
No.
Yeah.
I've only been in the press box a couple of times, and I'm nobody to them. I'm underneath their radar. So as a fly on the wall, watching them go back and forth is hilarious.
Oh, and the fantasy talk, that's fun.
Both times I went, there was definitely an interaction for sure.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You got one more,
I had
Scotty?
one more. So
Okay.
you've seen the sport for a long time from two completely different perspectives, as a scorer, as a worker for the sport, and as a moto mom. And I just kind of wanted to know if you had any advice, or what would you say to some of the moto moms that are getting involved in the sport with their kids?
I kind of, all you can do is kind of like, I see Ellie Reed now, and, these kids that race against Jason, like Ellie Reed and Evie Ferry, and, and I think they do such a great job, especially like Evie. It must be, I just can't imagine, because she has Beckett at home, she has to kind of let Evan go, like he goes with Timmy, and he goes with her dad, and, he's racing around the country without her, and that's just, it's mind blowing to me, but you do what you got to do. But I don't know, you gotta be in their corner. That's all I can say is, as the mom, you're just cleaning the helmet and cleaning the goggles, and maybe not on Evan's level because he is sponsored, but and you just got to tell them they do a good job, or if they suck, just you can, you got to do it better. And, but you just have to be in their corner. They're going to have some really down days, and if they have really good ones, then you have to say, well, you're only as good as your last race. So,
Right. Yeah.
The hardest thing is when they get injured, and then, they think, oh, it's over now. And, I can't race for this long, and you hate to see your kid hurt. And, that's the hardest thing, is having them in an ambulance, go to the hospital, and you're, not knowing what's going on.
Absolutely.
That's the hardest thing.
Yeah. I'm a parent and a grandparent now. And, You know, I'll tell you a quick story that you can probably relate to, and I probably still owe my mom a big apology. 95, I don't remember how old I was, but I had a pretty bad crash here in East Texas and punctured a lung, broke a collarbone, was completely out cold. Like my mom thought I was dead by the way I was laying on the track. You know, I pass out, I wake up in the hospital, whatever. You know, 6 weeks later, I'm kind of healing up, and I get released from the doctor. And I'm like, well, I'm going riding today. So I load the bike up the day. It couldn't have been the day because it was, well, when I tell you what day it was, you'll know where this problem was. But I load up the weekend that I'm released, and I'm loading my truck, and my mom comes home, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm going riding. She goes, are you kidding me? Like, what do you mean? She said, you just almost died. You know, you're just getting better, and it's Mother's Day.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, yeah, but I'm going riding. And then we got in a huge fight. And she's like, well, don't come home then. And so I was like, all right, I won't come home. So I go to my friend's house to ride, and within about 5 minutes, I break my pelvic bone.
Oh, geez.
And I will not call my mom, and I will not go to the hospital. And yeah, I left her in tears. And, you know, I just didn't understand. I was probably 18, 19 years old. And yeah, like to what I put my mom through, I'm sure what JT put you through, like it's as a mother, like, you know, even as a dad, I can't relate, right? We're not wired quite the same as a mother. So I'm sure like what you just said about supporting your kid, even though there was probably pain caused unintentionally to you emotionally, it's really cool to hear what you have to say and, you know, the support you have for him and the love that he still has for the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. I don't think he has the love of writing so much anymore, which
Clearly
doesn't break my heart.
Clearly not.
Doesn't break my heart.
Yeah,
but,
I think he rode the Suzuki like once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mathis keeps asking me about Loretta's, and I'm like, no.
Right.
No. We don't want to do that.
Even the vet world. Like Kiefer challenged me and Mathis last night to race the vets this year, and I was like, all right, I'll do it if I can get the funding, because that's going to be my issue is getting out there. But
yeah,
they would be cool to see JT lined up, but he's definitely not riding enough to make that.
No.
Not it, because he's got too much ability. He wouldn't be able to go out there and just be like, all right, I'm just going to have fun. Like he would. We know JT well enough to know, like, even if he doesn't ride leading up to it, he would want to go and do well, and that's not good.
Yeah.
I got one more question before we let you go.
Okay.
Do you remember the Arena Cross race with the issue with Bogard? Were you there?
Oh, yes. I was scoring.
So can I get your perspective on this? And I want you to know that I live 2 hours east of Dallas. So I grew up racing older, but around Bogard. So like when I heard the story the first time, I didn't know about it until they talked about it on Pulp years ago. And it just sounds like an absolute shit show, but I'd like to get your perspective on that story.
Oh my God. It was, Jason was just racing it because it was in Jacksonville, pretty much, you know, and they asked him to come as the local guy. So, you know, and Charlie was like the guy then. And so he, you know, I had to score with two scorers that just thought Charlie Bogard was, you know, God's gift to Arena Cross. And so, so we were scoring, and Jason went through these little rollers or whoops or whatever. They don't really have that big of ones in Arena Cross, and I don't know, he missed one or something. Well, he was slow. He was going slow, and
through the whoops and made a mistake.
So Charlie crashed, but he crashed because Jason was going slow, but they didn't run into each other or anything. So I think Charlie was winning, and
that's how I remember the story. Yeah.
So the next lap around, when Jason came around, Charlie actually went backwards on the track to like take Jason out.
Yeah.
Because he was, you know, he had lost the race by then. Well, he went, and so he got off his bike. Jason got off his bike. So they start fighting in the middle of the track. Like, and the race is still going.
Yes,
and they're just fighting. And so then Frank was Jason's mechanic. Frank sees Jason getting beat up. So Frank runs out there, and then Charlie's mechanic jumps on Frank. So then Frank and his mechanic are fighting. And then Jason's trainer was in the stands, He jumps out of the stands
It's like
Yeah,
some-
into the
Cross.
track.
Yes.
So, and then I'm scoring, and this is the only time I've ever done it in my life. I just threw my clipboard up, and I'm like, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. I'm still trying to score and watch this going on. I can't do it. So I ran down there. So anyway, they broke it up, and Kirk, who was Jason's his trainer, they were going to arrest him, but I kind of talked him out of it, so they just made him leave. Then Frank, they wouldn't let him be the mechanic for the next race, which they had a race, because Jason was racing 2 classes, I think. So they wouldn't let him to race the next race. They didn't do anything to Jason. I think Charlie got fined a couple $1,000 maybe for going backwards on the track.
Right,
I'm not
yeah.
sure. But I mean, the promoter, who was it, Mike Kidd back then?
I think it was Mike Kidd, yeah.
Yeah, he thought it was great. Behind the scenes, he thought it was great. I mean, he was just like, this is awesome. So, because Jason thought he wasn't going to get to race, he's like, no, man. And when Jason went out there, the crowd was just crazy. They just were cheering, and they just thought it was
That's so cool.
great.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was horrific. I mean, I just knew they were going to both get plowed by bikes. That was the thing I was the most worried about.
I bet, yeah.
They had their helmets on, so they weren't really going to beat each other up, but
it's like Weston
Frank
Pike
got a little banged up.
Yeah, like Weston Pike and Vince Freeze, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that story, and I reached out to Charlie, and he's like, man, I don't want to talk about it. I was dumb, and he's basically like, stupid things that happened, and he didn't want to relive it. That was like one of my first interviews I ever did, was trying to reach out to Charlie about that, but the next week, or the next arena cross, because that was the only arena cross Jason raced. Yeah.
There were some guys from Florida, Eddie Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the next race at the arena cross, he beat the crap out of Charlie Bogart.
Yeah, and I think that was in Dallas.
Pits.
I think it was in Dallas. I think
he beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. I've heard that story, too, on Pulpamex back in the day, yeah. Oh, wow.
Jason really didn't have anything to do with that. He was just like, but yeah, I just to add onto that because you brought up Freezy. Only time I ever got in trouble at Supercross was because of Vince Freezy.
Oh, really?
Because I would lose my cool on the score stand. And because back then Kevin Crowther was there before Mike Pelletier.
Right.
And Kevin would stand in the tower with us, and I would be scoring, and I'm like, oh my God, did you see what he just did? I mean, I'd scream it, and Crowther would be like, Cindy,
getting scolded.
Stop. And then after the race, he'd come up to me, and he's like, your kid is going to drive me. I'm like, my kid? Wasn't my kid. I was always getting in trouble.
That's great. Cindy, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. JT said that you were a little bit nervous coming into this, but it's been a lot of fun for us, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, I did, and I'm sorry my phone kept dropping.
No worries. We can edit that out. The live YouTube feed, they understand, and for the post audio, I'll just cut all that out, and they'll never know.
Okay. Well, thanks. I had a great time.
Well, thank you so much for doing it. It was a pleasure. And again, your son is a really, really great guy, and congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I think so.
All right. Well,
okay.
Well, thanks
have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Cindy Thomas. Yeah, she does have an Instagram. I think it's something like Cindy Lynn 11 or Cindy 11 Lynn.
I found it. I didn't.
Yeah. But I don't think she's super active.
That's what happens when you assume things.
There you go. But thanks to Cindy Thomas. Let's take a very quick break, and we'll be right back with Derek Kelley. Next up, it's been a little bit since he's been on. That's on me. I probably should have had him on a couple of weeks ago. But our next guest, he's going to be brought to you by his very own company, True Fusion Sports. True Fusion Sports was created out of a necessity for products designed for recovery performance at the highest level. With natural anti-inflammatory ingredients like Arnica montana flower and magnesium sulfate, their soaks and I can never get through this one. Their soaks and topicals relieve pain, mend injuries, and allow muscles to perform at their highest level. Use code MOTOXPOD10 to save at True Fusion Sports. And he's also going to be our Race Tech Privateer check-in tonight. The one and only Derek Kelley. What's up, dude?
How's it going?
It's going good, man. How are you doing? How are you feeling after 2 rounds? Some improvements, figuring everything out. I feel like you're on pace to have some really good rides coming up, but how are you feeling?
No, I'm feeling good. I mean, just recovering from the weekend. You know, it's going to be a long season. So I'm actually stoked on the start. This is my first time starting the season with any kind of gusto. You know, I usually start pretty slow with some DNFs and such. So it's nice to have 4 solid-ish motos in a row and keep improving, you know? Yeah,
Paula, 14-19 for 16th. And then at Hangtown, 12-11 for 11th. And I don't care what happened to these particular riders, but you beat Thrasher, LeBlanc, Varese, Jalik Swoll, Pierce Brown, and RJ Hampshire.
Yeah, it's a thick field. I'm stoked on this weekend for sure. Finally, it's my first time actually riding up close to that top 10 group, and it's definitely a learning experience for sure.
Yeah. So what is there anything different this year that you've done training wise, preparation wise, that, you know, maybe you learned last year? Like, is there anything different going into this season that maybe is contributing to those better rides and no DNFs?
Definitely. It's definitely a whole package. I mean, being on AEO Power Sports is, they have a really great group of people and really good equipment. So that's the main thing for outdoors this year. I'm on a good bike and I got a pretty good program going with those guys. And I've been healthy for a little bit now. So it's definitely, it's a building process, and you look at it like, oh, I need one big thing. It's a lot of little things put together and it turns into good results, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah. Last year, you know, like at Hangtown when I came out, right, you were riding under the TPJ tent, and, you know, Ted Parks does a great job helping privateers out, but there's a big difference, and you're still responsible for a lot more stuff yourself probably than maybe you are at AEO. Like I assume like maybe you're still responsible for your travel and stuff, but AEO has a little bit more probably support for you than I assume Ted does.
Yeah, I mean, the cost is still there. I mean, I have to cover my travel, my lodging, my mechanic, and stuff like that. But it's a team effort. We got spotters and stuff like that, and we actually have some suspension techs that come with us, and we have a little bit of knowledge behind the program. So it's not just going out there and putting in laps and kind of winging it. You know, I mean, Ted Parks is awesome, and it helps with travel, so you don't have to drive to the race if you don't want to, and stuff like that. It's just steps up, you know, like we're at a certain level, like TPJ's at a certain level. It's better than going out of the back of your van.
Sure.
And then this is a step up from TPJ for sure. And it's not quite a factory program yet, but it's a hell of a lot better than anything I've ever had.
That's cool, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
So I was looking at your results from Hangtown and also the point standing at so far, and you're the first guy that's not a factory supported guy, and I was like, that didn't really, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's good. It didn't really surprise me too much. I kind of put you there, and I wanted to know, is being that first privateer guy, is that kind of give you a little bit of confidence, or did you kind of expect to be that guy?
I'm not really results orientated this year. I'm just trying. I mean, like I said, when we first started talking, I just want to go out there and be the best that I can be. So going up there and looking at what names are in front of me and are behind me, obviously I look at it, but I'm just stoked that I'm riding strong, and I'm not riding 100% yet. I mean, there's definitely still stuff out on the table that I need to polish up, and I'd love to be inside that top 10 for sure.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good goal, even though you said you're not goal oriented, but that's still like, you know, it's, I get it, you know. I will tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a little upset with you though.
Why is that?
Well, you raced Paula 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks prior to that, I raced Paula. You did not reach out to me and ask for any inside info. I mean, I almost pulled the whole shot in the second moto, dude. And you didn't.
I saw that.
You didn't ask for any advice or anything. Like, what's up, bro?
Man, I totally blanked on that one. I need to start using my resources better. You definitely had some insider knowledge there that I could have taken advantage of.
Thank you. As long as you don't watch that first moto start. First one was
I saw Kiefer's story, and you ripped that whole shot almost. It was pretty sick. That
was my only goal after I literally felt like I couldn't walk. I was so sore because By the way, Scotty, I had reached out to Derek, and he was going to hook me up with some of the True Fusion soak and magnesium muscle nutrition.
Yeah, I was going to give you the works. I don't know what happened.
Well, you do know what happened. You were going to like try to get with Kiefer, and Kiefer's not very good about making any plans outside of the plans he already has. So
Kiefer's got his program.
Yeah, like that wasn't going to happen. Like he wasn't going to come meet you somewhere, that just wasn't going to happen. Like literally,
or at least tell me where I can meet him.
Yeah, I couldn't even get an answer. Like I didn't know where he was going to be the day before.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to Glen Helen when I landed until I pulled in his driveway. Like he wasn't telling me shit. And
some sick trick to keep you on your toes.
It was. He thought he was, giving me the whole experience, as he said. But even going to Paula Sunday and coming back, like Parabinos was like, dude, I live 5 minutes off the highway on the way to Paula. If you'll get Chris to stop, I will give you a pair of the purple bars. I told Chris, he's like, no, we're not stopping. You don't need those. I was like, yeah, but I want those. You don't need them. You're not getting them. So I was like, all right, well, this sucks.
Thanks.
So I didn't get the True Fusion products that I very severely needed that weekend because I was dying, Derek. Like
I can imagine.
I was in so much pain. Like literally, I still can't sleep like I used to because the back pain I had changed like day-to-day life since then. Like the amount he made me ride, I've always had lower back issues, like a hereditary thing. But now, like that weekend,
Just took it to a whole new level.
It was totally like nothing I'd ever experienced. But
that sucks.
Well, in one way it does, but in another, it really has motivated me to ride more and try to get my butt in better shape. So it sucked in the moment. Long term, I think it's going to be better, but I am going to place an order. I do need some of that stuff. So
you exceeded my expectations when you told me that you were doing all that and you had to race Sunday. I was like, "There's no way."
I don't think anybody believed. I didn't believe I was going to do it.
Because I've not rode for 5 months and then ride, and I can't even walk downstairs. So I was like, "There's no way."
A bunch of our
character building.
Yeah, a bunch of our group was like, "There's no way you're going to race," but then they were all like, "If you go all the way to California and you go to Paula and you don't race," like they were just like, I was getting so much crap. I was like, I have to race, even if I'm terrible, I have to. And lining up for the second moto, Chris was like, dude, you just don't need to race. I literally could not hardly start the bike. I was in so much pain. And
that's awesome.
I was like, I'm riding. I'm at least going to take the gate drop. Let's see what happens. And he was like, all right, then your goal is just to get a good start. I was like, all right, I'll probably get a good start. I'll do my best to get a good start. And if I do that, I'm probably going to pull off. No way I can do 5 laps. No way. Then I got a good start, and dude, when you're 46 and don't ride, that's a lifetime. I'm telling you, when the checkered flew, I have never been that happy in my entire life because I thought I was getting the white. I missed the white. When I came over that tabletop and it was a checkered flag, I was like, "Oh my god!
Yay!
Oh my god!" But
the worst is when you're racing pro and you think you missed the halfway mark, and you look and you get the halfway mark when you think you're getting the 2-lap car.
Oh my God, yes, no way. So anyway, though, I am going to place an order, and I appreciate everybody saying, the second start was like, it made my weekend. I was so stoked. I told the story on here. You probably don't listen to the show, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. There was a guy that lined up next to me in the first moto on a 2-stroke gas, and he was in black blue jeans and work boots, like not even lace work boots, like slip-on work boots. And he had like these big bushy eyebrows that looked like they couldn't be contained by goggles. And I was like, okay, this is the guy I have to beat. Like, I have to beat this guy.
Did he work you?
So the first lap of the first moto, if you watch the start, he got me in the first corner. Like I backed out and he got me. Then the second right-hander, I come out side by side. We're side by side, and we go over the stair step, and we make the left, and we make the right where that double is. That after the double, I think for you guys was like those rollers or whatever. But that double, I never jumped in practice, like because I wasn't used to the bike. I hadn't been riding. I was like, I'm not jumping this thing, even though it wasn't very big. First lap, side by side with that guy, like I'm going, well, I'm jumping it. I mean, I have to. He's not going to do it. I jumped it. I cased the ever-loving shit out of it. And then I whiskeyed into the tabletops that were there.
And overjumped the tabletops?
Well, I locked it up and pulled the clutch in. Because if I hadn't, I was going to I was going to end up on the other side of the track. Not like the other side of the lane. Literally the other side of the compound. I was full throttle whiskey into that thing. Oh, no. And my heart rate was probably like 300. And that was it. The guy took off, and then I actually ate shit a couple corners later, and that was it. Like, I was done. And so the second moto, when I pulled that start, I was like, well, as long as that dude doesn't catch me, I'm golden. And he did not. So I won for myself on the weekend. This whole last 20 minutes has not been about you at all, but anyway.
It was a great story. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for me. I had a great experience. Back to you, dude.
That's good.
You'll be at Lakewood, right? I mean, how are we feeling about elevation and where you're at for all that?
I mean, I tend to do pretty good at elevation. I mean, everybody deals with it. That's kind of the mindset I've been going in. Like, if it's hot or whatever, the track's rough. Like, at the end of the day, everybody's got to deal with it. So, no sense in dreading it or complaining about it. You just go up there and get the work done.
Absolutely. I dig it, man. I can't wait to get up there this weekend. It's the first national I'll be at.
All right, I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, of course.
So whenever you're in the motos, you know, they're obviously 35 minutes is a long time to just be going like that. What is your kind of like maybe a little bit of your like inner monologue? What are you thinking about your condition? Are you thinking about a certain part of the track, or like kind of like what's kind of like your monologue during a moto?
What's that? I'm sorry, my mom was coming in.
Oh, it's okay.
Wow.
I am so sorry.
No, you're good.
No, it's okay. Just so I was kind of just talking.
So the 35-minute moto mindset.
So you're kind of like your inner monologue. Are you thinking about a part of the track? Are you thinking about your conditioning? Like, what's going on in your head during the race?
Yeah, I get you. It's changed over the years. So I mean, this is my third full year riding it or racing outdoor nationals, and like my first year on 450s, I was barely making through the motos. Like, I was getting arm pump on the fifth lap and just scraping. And then in my second year, I kind of started being able to, towards the end, being able to put in the full 30. And then last year I was getting a little better. And now this year it's almost, you just focus on your riding for the entire, you take it corner by corner, not really lap by lap. You take it corner by corner and you just try to put in the best corners and carry the most momentum you can. And by the time you know it, you're getting a 2-lap card. So that's kind of what's helped me a lot, is just focusing on technique and trying to get through the moto, or not necessarily get through the moto, but ride as best as I can, you know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, of course it does. What do you think about the 450 classes? The guys like with Cairoli and Dungey being back, how cool is that to have those guys back at the races, or Cairoli here, Dungey back?
Dunge being back and is killing it. And then I honestly do the MAV TV thing, and I haven't even been able to watch the races yet. I've just been focused on getting to the races, racing, and then getting back to training. So I can't even tell you how well they did. I saw that Dungey got top 5 at Paulo, which is insane coming off of a 5 or 6 year break. Like, that's pretty much unheard of. I mean, that just goes to show that he probably shouldn't have retired that early.
Right. Yep.
But I mean, I don't know how to take it. I think that the top 1 or 2 kind of left him way behind. I don't know how close he was, but to be top 5 in that field is pretty insane.
Well, yeah, and I think, you know, like Eric Mathis and all those guys in their shows talking, like, he's only going to get better. And as we get east and he gets to Southwick and Millville, where he's always been great, like, he's going to be more competitive, you'd have to think. And it's definitely impressive. Like, I think it was Christian or Logan Carnow was like, dude, that guy just makes me want to quit riding dirt bikes. Like, it's ridiculous, you know, like, to be able to come back and be at that level.
Some people are just built different, if that makes any sense. I mean, he's just an insane dude. I went back and looked at his results. It's like 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. He doesn't have any DNFs. He never finished outside the top 10 overall in the 450 outdoor class in his entire career. Which I don't know how that's possible, not having any mechanicals or crashing or anything like that.
Yeah, they talked about that on Pulp like weekend before last, and I think he had 2 separate runs of something like 21 podiums in a row.
It's just insane.
Yeah,
and the race that knocked his streak in Supercross was a 4th.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and Dungey's a guy, like, I've always respected him, but I was never like a fan of, just because he, you know, personality wise, I was kind of like, man, it's kind of boring. It's not that exciting. Yeah. And
I grew up kind of despising the guy to a certain extent. I'm just like, he's always there.
Yeah,
But that was when I was like, I mean, when he was racing, I was like 13, 14 years old. So, I mean, being the kid, I love seeing James Stewart and RV just hanging it out and weaving their brains.
Yeah. That's how I was, you know, yeah. And
now, as I've gotten older, I'm kind of envious and I really look up to the guy for sure.
Yeah, he's a great role model. I've complimented that when the chance we've had to talk to him.
Just the cookie cutter of a perfect motocross racer.
Yeah, I know. Right?
The ideal.
It makes you like want to find something like there's got to be something he does that it's not. You know, like he's just one of those guys. Like do something wrong, say something bad. You know?
I did notice something about Cairoli though. I don't know if you guys looked at qualifying at all, but at Paula, the dude only did like one fast lap.
Yeah.
And qualified fourth.
Yeah.
His second closest lap time was like 15 or 20 seconds behind his fast qualifying lap.
Yeah, because you know he's used to a totally different format, right? Yeah. So
I don't know how do you even do that though? It wasn't even like he did a roll lap.
Yeah.
It was like he pulled off and then did one lap and said, "All right, I'm done."
Yeah, that's probably about what he did. It's unreal. Yeah. It's not fair.
All right, we have a listener question. Jake Curry would like to know, do you have any superstitions like right glove first, left boot, anything like that?
I know a lot of guys that have some crazy superstitions, but I've kind of gotten into it. Like the only one that's pretty common that I do is to never say last lap or one more. You know,
I do that. I'm going to go out again.
That's pretty universal. Yeah,
everybody does that. I mean, I've seen guys that tap their helmet 3 times, lay their gloves out, throw their helmet on fast and all this stuff. I mean, I put sometimes my socks have right and left, and sometimes you get 2 rights or 2 lefts, but
yeah,
if
I get them matched and I don't put them on the wrong feet, I guess.
There you go.
When I get a new helmet, I hold it about 6 inches off the ground and let it and drop it.
I will not do that. All my helmets are like custom
I've been doing
painted.
that for a while.
No, my helmets are all custom painted, and no, I'm not doing that. I'm not dropping it.
I don't know. It's not even a superstition of mine. That's like kind of like my dad makes me drop my helmet, so I just throw it on the ground.
I can't do it.
I heard a story of a guy that worked at a car dealership. Dude bought like an $80,000 truck, comes up to the rear end and just kicks a dent in the side of it, like with his boot. And then he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, got to get the first one out of the way."
No, that's dumb. That's stupid. Well,
that's dumb,
dude. Like I said, I will be at Lakewood. So if you want to bring some soak and some magnesium muscle nutrition, I'll take it from you, or I'll just order it online, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I'll bring some. How about that?
Yeah, if you throw some stuff in your bag, I will take it. That's for sure. But here's the real question. If I'm going to come by the AEO Power Sports tent, is Kelley going to be there?
Oh, my God.
Kelley will not be there this weekend.
Never mind. Don't worry about
it. He's like, I'm refunding my ticket. I'm not even coming now.
Probably, I mean, you know, if AEO is on the way to some other tent I'm going to, maybe I'll stop and say hi, but...
Since Kelley's not there. Hey, I'll tell her you're going. Maybe she'll want to come.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. I like the implication.
Such a
or maybe you can text her.
I actually don't do that. So as much as you guys might want to do it, I just like Scotty always gets all weirded out when I talk about riders, chicks.
So like, I mean, it's a circle of life. You give me shit, and then that's like the one thing that I can give you shit about. So I try to play. I try to play that horn.
Anyway, I will see you at Lakewood, dude. I look forward to it. And I told a couple of people, my co-host who's not here tonight, TJ, his son Doc is making his pro debut in the 250 class. So if he qualifies, dude, I might be. You might see my pit board out there going, "Get out of the way, DK."
He's coming through.
There you go.
So yeah,
I hope he makes it.
Yeah, he's dealing with a little injury, and it's his first one. So I hope he does too. But it's gonna be tough.
Tell him to try really hard in the first qualifying. This year they've been making the tracks very rideable. So
I'll let him know. But we'll see you. I'll be there Friday. If you're at the track Friday, I'll see you. And if not, I'll see you Saturday.
Yeah, I'll probably be there around 1 or 2 o'clock. I get in at like 12:30. So
yeah, I think I land at like 10:30, and I'm gonna go straight and get my credentials and try to get some interviews in before press. So I'll see you Friday then.
Right on, buddy.
All right, DK. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
See you, man.
See ya.
Our boy Derek Kelley. I always enjoy talking to him, man.
Dude,
He's funny. And you can tell, I feel like he's gotten more comfortable with us.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of knows both of us now pretty good, and
yeah,
he's definitely one of he's definitely like like we talked about, he's the best second guy, or the second privateer guy.
Oh yeah, like
best of the rest. Yeah, and I want to see him run like 6'7" so bad. I know he can do it.
That would be cool. Yeah,
I know he can do it, and
I do too. It's just so hard when you're. I think at that level, when you're the 250 bikes probably are more important than the 450 bikes. So like when you're battling a Star Yamaha and a Pro Circuit Kawasaki,
what are you gonna do?
It's just there's such a disadvantage right off the start almost. And now we're gonna be at elevation this weekend.
Yeah,
and it just makes up such a difference. But yeah, the dude's got so much skill. I love the fact that he's got some help through AEO that ride, and him talking about being the best opportunity he's had. That's fantastic for him. I hope he continues to improve, even if he just stays right there in that top 10.
Yeah,
that'd be a fantastic season for him.
Oh, for sure.
All right.
If he finishes top 10, he'll have a ride next year.
Yeah, he'll get something.
He'll get something.
Okay, so that's a wrap on our guests. Do you have anything to grill your ass off second helping segment? Anything you want to talk about? Anything we need to touch
that's up
on?
to you. I'll talk about something.
I actually don't have anything wrote down because, as I told you before the show, and I say every week, I kind of screwed up, and I'm actually behind schedule on my wrap-up stuff tonight, so it's going to be a very late night.
Tisk.
Yeah, yes. But if you have something you want to talk about, we will. If not, we're going to wrap it up.
It's up to you.
Let's just go ahead and wrap it up then. Let's wrap it up. You guys don't forget, if you listen to the show, we're going to give away a set of fly gear. JT said we could give away.
Are you raffling off the side panel? If I don't know what this means. Are we still raffling off the side panel if he makes the show? That's what Jake said.
Give me a second because I don't tell him to explain because I don't remember half the shit.
He doesn't know what you're talking about, Jake.
We're going to give away a set of fly gear. JT said it could be light or kinetic. So as I said earlier, I am going to post a picture on Instagram.
Oh, he's probably talking about Doc.
Can I finish this first?
I'm sorry. I just thought of that.
The Motoxpod show.
Sorry.
That's fine. No, I'm just joking. On the Motoxpod show Instagram at Motoxpod show, I'm going to post a picture probably tomorrow of a set of fly gear. I need you guys that are listening over the next week to go find that picture, make a comment, and tag somebody, a friend of yours that you feel like they need to listen, or maybe they do, but I'd like to get new people listening. So tag somebody. We will pick a winner before the show next week for this gear. Got to thank Fly Racing for that and JT for allowing us to do that. So you may be right. That does sound vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it was Doc's side panel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what if he makes the show?
If he makes the
Yeah, as long as he'll give me one. I don't remember. When did that come up? Because
we must have talked about that when TJ was on, I guess.
I was gonna say because I don't think I would have said we'll give that away because I don't really have the right to give this stuff away. But we'll figure it out. I'm sure we can make it happen. So sure, why not?
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a wrap. I want to thank Cherubies USA, Race Tech, Fly Racing, X-Brand Goggles, Works Connection, Torque One Racing, R Jerky, Berm Lords, Graphics, and Jersey ID, Shock Socks, Williams Motorworks, Extreme Colors, Blood Lubricants, Power Band Racing, True Fusion Sports, Grill Your Ass Off. We have promo codes for a number of these companies. Scotty and I were talking earlier, we were just talking about travel and how much travel is this year and why, we're probably not going to do any other nationals in Lakewood, unfortunately, because of budget. We had a lot more money in our sponsorship dollars this year, but it didn't go as far because of the prices of things. So if you guys will go to these sponsors and you will purchase stuff, use their services, whether it be Race Tech, Works Connection, X-Brand Goggles, let them know, tag them, buy some X-Brand goggles and tag X-Brand and tell them you're listening to the Moto X-Pod show. Those kind of things. We have to let these sponsors know that you guys support the show and the sponsors so that we can continue to get more money next year or even the same amount of money, if not more money for next year. So your involvement in helping us let these sponsors know that you're a part of this thing, man, that's a big deal to us. So follow them on social, tagging them in posts, all that stuff matters a lot more than you understand. Subscribing to the YouTube channel, etc., patreon.com, all that stuff. It's a big deal to us. We appreciate it more than we can express. I think about this freaking podcast and what we're doing to make it better almost 24 hours a day, and you listeners are a big part of it. So a lot of you probably know Damon. He posts on what's up? Oh, okay, on Discord and Pulp YouTube, and he's been posting stuff on Vital for us, and he's really trying to get more people aware of the show. So I appreciate that kind of stuff. When you guys make efforts like that, it means a lot to me. So I thank everybody. But other than that, Scotty just had to go take a dump, I guess. He's not here anymore. Or maybe he's washing his little baby T-shirt. But I want to thank Josh, Jelly Ellingson, Cindy Thomas, and Derek Kelley. Working on schedule for next week. We'll be back next week with something. Maybe Jetta be on. Maybe if Max Volan working on some stuff. But other than that, we're out of here. Thanks, guys.